Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be performing some data cleaning in Tableau. There may be times when you bring in data into Tableau that is not well formatted or cleaned. You can use the data interpreter in Tableau to format or clean up your data properly. I'm going to connect to an Excel workbook. So I click on the icon here from Tableau and then select Microsoft Excel, and that will take me to my data source. And the file I want to open is this file here called clean data. So I'm going to double click to open it. As you can see, Tableau displays the data source page, and over on the left you can see that I have sheet 1 and also sheet 1 table 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab sheet 1 and drag that over here and drop that here where it says tables. You can see a preview of the data below. You can see from the data I have a column name called combined tables, and then we have F2, F3, F4, and so on. We also have some null values here. Looking at this data, it appears it has not been well formatted. If we take a look at this worksheet, you can see that on row number 1, we have combined tables as a header. When this data was brought into Tableau, what Tableau was trying to do is to look at this row here that says combined table, and it looks at it as a column, and by doing that it displaces the other columns out of a formatted order. Looking at the preview of the data in Tableau, you can see where the combined table was brought in. So on the actual workbook is represented as a header, but Tableau is treating it as a column, and thereby it has thrown off the formatting for the other columns. There are a couple of ways to deal with this issue. The first thing we could do would be to delete the row number 1, which contains the combined tables. We can delete that, and then by getting rid of that as the header, it will reformat the worksheet to be in order. The second option is to make some changes within Tableau workbook using the data interpreter. If we take a look on the left here, we have this checkbox, and next to it we have this text that says use data interpreter. It then tells you that the data interpreter might be able to clean your Microsoft Excel workbook. So this is the option I'm going to go for. So I'm going to put a check next to that and wait for it to load. The data interpreter has cleaned up the data. So here there is a link to review the result. If I click on that, that will open up an Excel worksheet. So I click to review. What you are looking at is a display of Excel with a version of the workbook that I created before. I can see that data has been excluded from the data source and it has been removed. Mind you, this is just a backup copy of the original data source. So the original data source has not been affected. This is just a backup copy that has been cleaned by the data interpreter from Tableau. So if you take a look at the bottom here, notice we have sheet 1. So if I click on sheet 1, you can see the actual data that has been cleaned. I'm just going to close this workbook. I click on the X here to exit. If I remove the check mark from the cleaned with data interpreter, you notice that the unformatted data has come back. So I have sheet 1 and then sheet 1 table 1. Sheet 1 table 1 would contain the table data but exclude the header. So that would have been the data that has been cleaned by the data interpreter. So at the moment you're looking at a preview of sheet 1. So if I drag sheet 1 from here and drag that back here, that removes it from the preview. And if I drag sheet 1 table 1 here, you can see a preview of the data that has been cleansed by the data interpreter. In this video, I've showed you how to clean data using the data interpreter. However, if you are able to delete any rows, especially individual headers that are not part of your data source, it may be advisable to do that before you bring your data into Tableau.